Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast, episode 279. Great show for you guys today. Absolutely loaded show. My name is Brian. I'm your host here at the TTP, at Take Two Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for subscribing, for downloading, for joining in on all of the fun Hollywood news, TV, movie reviews, and more. And my Take Two. Again, my name is Brian. Episode 279 straight weeks of this regular show. We also have a litany of spinoffs. Over the 5+ years that the show has been on the air, we were CW affiliated for a while and did a weekly show for them. The Realm from Take Two still drops monthly episodes. We used to have guys who would cover WWE wrestling at least once a week, and a huge amount of tons of shows back in the day, and still going forward. Some fun stuff going on. Add up all of those shows. Add up everything that we have giving you Take Two Podcast, myself and the 6 previous hosts that used to be employed here. Today, this episode right now is our 666th episode all time. I was going to give like a favorite performance as the devil segment here, but our show is so loaded, so absolutely loaded, we're going to stay positive. We're going to stay on the positive side of the ball if we can. But I just wanted to point out that this is episode 666 overall. A little crazy. All right, probably should have skipped it, just like hotels don't have the 13th floor. Either way, hey, maybe this would be like our highest downloaded episode of all time, and we can say that we sold our souls to the devil. I would not mind. If you would like to get a little more Take Two Podcast, number one, 667-365-8253. You can text, you can voicemail that. Give it a call anytime, day or night. I will not answer, I promise. You can just leave a little bit of voicemail. We can talk a little movies, a little TV, a little whatever you so desire. Also, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find Take Two Podcast quite easily there. Of course, tagged on all of the socials. Anytime you find this show, you can then find all of that stuff and join along each and every day. This show is absolutely loaded. I don't want to delay any further. Here's what we have. Marry Me, I Want You Back, Book of Boba Fett. Those are our 3 big reviews. The main reason that you come to the show is for those reviews. Number 2, the interview. We're on fire, folks. This is another week with another celebrity interview. Actor. This guy, Jonathan Stoddard, man, he might be one of, if not the busiest actors that I've ever gotten to speak with for the show. And we've chatted with many, many folks. He is loaded. He has stuff that just dropped, is dropping, is about to drop. Something might have dropped right now while I'm talking because he's such a busy guy and worth it. He has earned it. He has put in his dues. He has worked hard his whole life. He's got some great things to say about the industry, about acting, about life in general. That interview is coming up a little bit later. Mr. Jonathan Stoddard, actor. You guys can recognize him from a litany of projects. Number 1 right now is he's in a Lifetime movie that you can find him on immediately now. And then there's a whole bunch more coming. You will hear that during the interview later on. Also, Oscar noms came out last week. They came out the day that we dropped the show. Horrible timing because the news cycle is a week old, so nobody wants to talk about Oscar noms, but I didn't get a chance to, so I will go through quickly my thoughts on the Oscar noms, snubs, surprises, what have you, a little bit later on, just after the news segment of our show. Good DC, good Marvel, good casting couch, decent little box office, all the standards that we have across the board, and then we had the Super Bowl. Can I say that word? The big game, the football championship was played, and the halftime show, and the trailers and commercials. I'm going to chat about all that later on during the Hollywood news as well. So check your show notes, folks. If you need to skip around, I don't mind one bit, but when you feel like it, come on back. Download the show all over again and listen to the parts that you fast forward or have to rewind through. With that being said, I want to get started with the show before we rock into things. My first ever acting coach in any capacity was a phenomenal guy, and I am lucky to still be friends with him. Yeah, Facebook friends, but I have a feeling if I would ever hit him up on the side, he was such a great guy, such a nice man, that he would chat with anybody, especially if we want to talk about movies and acting and whatnot. And he follows the show, and so Mr. Phil McDermott has fallen on some bad times health-wise. He's still alive, but some health things are happening, and he could use a little bit of love. So I want to send it out through the airways. My first ever acting coach, and easily my best acting coach that I've ever had. He just, his passion for the craft, kind of just like he imparted that onto his students, and I absolutely loved going to his class back in the old high school days. So, Mr. McDermott, feel better, man. Feel better, Mr. McD. Okay, let's rock and roll into the show. Let's start things off with the box office. Box office this week, baby. It was curious. Was J-Lo gonna take that one spot, or was it gonna be Death on the Nile? We weren't sure the star power. I think the issue here for J-Lo was that she was also day and date. She was released in more theaters, and you could watch at home. And I think that killed her. The 58% I think is sitting out. I'll check that in a second for Marry Me. Might also be a factor there. But the number one winner of the box office, Death on the Nile. $12.8 million, 3,200 theaters. That's solid cash. Not bad. Again, big football game weekend. People are going to be focused on that. It's, February. People don't want to go out in the cold. That's good money for Death on the Nile. Not great, but it's still good money. Jackass Forever comes in at your number 2 spot. $8 million, again, 3,600. They actually put it into more theaters. They upped it by about 50 theaters because it was getting such a good response. And it should. I waxed poetic about it last week. As much as you could, wax poetic about that style of film, it's still a good time, folks. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Marry Me comes in just shy of that, 8 million. So Jackass was 8,050,000 and some change. Marry Me comes in at an even 8 million. So that's third place. 1, 2, 3. We still haven't mentioned Spider-Man No Way Home, and its 9th week of release drops into fourth place, $7 million. I mean, it's sitting at 759 domestic. Spider-Man, I think they're just like, screw you, Academy. You don't want to nominate us for Best Picture? Spoiler alert for later on in the show. We're just going to crank out another $7 million. Blacklight made $3.6 million. This is a Liam Neeson film. I think I saw it's at like 5% Rotten Tomatoes. And you guys know me. I like to look at Rotten Tomatoes just for the fun of it and just kind of like get a gauge of things. We all know there's a little controversy with the Rotten Tomato scores, but I think they're a good gauge just to kind of look at things overall, and just, you can use the tomato scores to your advantage when you want to, right? But either way, 2,700 theaters, only sitting at about a 5% overall. I don't know. Is anybody surprised by that? The way that Neeson cranks out these films. Sing 2 coming in at 6th place. Overall, still making a little bit of money. Again, probably said to the Academy, screw you. I'm just going to grab just under $3 million here this weekend. Moonfall comes in 7th place, 2.8. Scream then drops to, again, 2.8 itself. Licorice Pizza at just under $1 million. And The Kingsman just under $500,000 in its 8th week of release. There you go, guys. There's the box office. Death on the Nile. We would talk about going forward. Can Death on the Nile hold its spot? I think a different Tom Holland movie is probably going to unseat it. We shall talk about that at the end of the show in our going forward. Now, on to our poll results. All right, here we go. Hope you guys are ready for this. We are in the middle of the Olympics, middle of the Winter Olympics. And originally I thought, hey, let's throw out their favorite Olympic movie. And then I started, in my head rattling them all, bing, bing, bomb, boom. I said, you know what? There's enough Winter Olympic movies alone. Let's find out everyone's favorite Winter Olympic film. And then maybe in 2 years when we get back to the summer, we can do everyone's favorite summer movie. So either way, on the Twitters, I put the options of Cool Runnings, I, Tonya, Miracle. And then I put other comment below because I want you guys to do the comment below. I'm begging you, comment below. If you don't see the options of the 3 to 4 that we list there, I try and throw some extra pictures in that picture, that big giant, collage that sometimes there's too many, so it really hurts your eyeballs to look at that many photos in one picture. But comment below, baby. So that's where we threw things out there. Leading off, Cool Runnings literally runs away with this poll, 63%. I, Tonya comes in at 25%. And then Miracle at 9%. The rest of it goes to the comment below. So of those comment belows, Shy says Blaze of Glory. And then he comments, even though it's not really an Olympics movie. I put Blaze of Glory picture up there. I put Mighty Ducks 2, even though that's the Goodwill Games. I was just like, in this world. Right, in this world of Olympics and what have you, that could have counted, right? Sean, verbal, didn't comment, but he told me on the side, personally, a coworker, Sean said Miracle, and then he admitted he'd never seen the film Cutting Edge, which he's a little youthful compared to the majority of us talking right now. I know a lot of us are a little older age bracket, but I said, I'll give you a little bit of a pass because that did come out a little before your time, but do yourself a favor and see it. And someone that agrees with me would be Craig, because he also commented, if you didn't say Cutting Edge, F you. So Craig, just so you know, our coworker Sean has not seen Cutting Edge. So you can go F you to him the next time you see him in the real life. Kimberly, new commenter, says D2. Rock on, Kim. Love the comment. Love me some D2. Quack Attack was back, baby. And she even commented that Wolf Stonson was fire. Hello, hello. I've never thought that, but hey, good on you, Kim. Maybe give him a little ring-a-ding-ding. Speaking of that, I was watching the Olympics, watching Germany versus America men's hockey. The Germany coach had a very Wolf Stanson look about him. I was like, holy crap, he looks like he should be coaching for Iceland. Either way, Chris also throws up a YouTube clip on there for D2 as well. In studio podcast said Cool Runnings. Shoot the Flick said, I can't decide between the three options, between Cool Runnings and I, Tanya and Miracle. They couldn't decide between any of them, so I guess each one of them gets a vote. And then new commenter as well, Lindsay Washburn. Welcome, Lindsay. She's an actress. Hey, come on the show anytime you want, Linz. She went with Cutting Edge as well. So Cool Runnings runs away with it. They get multiple votes in there. I do love the comments of the D2. I'm amazed at Miracle. I mean, Miracle is quality film. Like good movie by itself. Forget the fact that it's a sports movie, but it got no love here. But I think everyone wants the feel good when we talk sports movies. And, well, Miracle's a feel good. That doesn't even make sense. I'm saying words that don't make sense. Either way, Cool Runnings, you win. Feel the rhythm, feel the ride. Come on, Jamaica, you won our poll. That is it for the box office. That is it for the polls. Now, here we go, the bread and butter. Let's rock and roll into our reviews. We're going to go Marry Me. We're going to go I Want You Back. We're going to go The Book of Boba Fett. Check your show notes below. If you need to skip around, I will be speaking freely about these films. But specifically Boba Fett. I mean, there's spoilers in Boba Fett that you'll wanna scroll past either way. All right, marry me, marry me, marry me. Marry me, marry me, marry me, marry me. Kat Valdez and Bastian are getting married in front of all their fans. This big concert, and it's being global live streamed. They're going to sing their song, Marry Me, Marry Me, Marry Me, Marry Me. They're going to sing that and then perform this duet and then get married. And they've been dating for like 18 months. And then what happens is, Bastian has been smooching with Kat Valdez's assistant. And we find this out literally seconds before they're about to go on stage together. So J-Lo plays Kat. She now is heartbroken. What am I going to do? So she's being live streamed, right? And this is her world. She is this big, iconic superstar. I mean, roll them all together. Like, it's rough to say that she's just herself. Like, she's J-Lo. She's this big, huge icon. Because I feel J-Lo in the real life has more depth to her thinking than this lady. Although as the movie goes on, you come to appreciate this lady behind the scenes better. But I don't know. Pick an iconic female superstar. That's kind of what they're parodying here for her character. Either way, she decides, well, instead of calling the whole thing off, I'm just going to pick a random Bobo sitting out there in the crowd and marry that dude. At the same time, Owen Wilson is there. He's a single dad. He comes with his daughter, who is 10-ish, 12-ish years old, in that range. And then a co-worker, played by Sarah Silverman. And they all go to this concert together. Silverman does not like the boys, so there's no connection there. So he is holding up a sign that says "Marry Me." He didn't bring it. He could care less to be there. But the daughter says, "Here, hold this real quick." So he's holding the sign that says "Marry Me" because "Marry Me" is the name of the song. So they were like, "Oh, we want to hear the song, marry me, marry me." Now, granted, I've never gone to an Aerosmith concert and held up a sign that just said "Dream On." I should have done it. Like, Mama Can, like, hold on. But either way. So we look at Owen Wilson. There he is holding the sign. And she's like, that dude, he's easy on the eyeballs to enough. And he's got a sign that says marry me. So he goes on stage in front of thousands. And there's a minister there, so to speak, and says, do you? And he's like, rock on, man. I do. Why not? Thus begins their adventure together. I will say this. I didn't hate this film. I know it's Rotten Tomato score and all that are low. It's like a 50-something percent, 58%-ish, I think. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I actually felt, and this is like an hour and 45 minutes, okay? I actually felt they could have fleshed this out more. We could have given a little more backstory into certain scenarios. Certain decisions got made kind of swiftly by the characters where they were just like, all right, we'll do it. Okay, we'll do it. And I was thinking, oh, you know what? You could have given me like a little more depth into that scene, And all of you screaming at your radio saying, Brian, it's a freaking rom-com that was day and date released. What depth do you want here, right? I don't know. I didn't want more. But I was thinking that this script wasn't god awful where you're gouging your eyes out like, oh my God, one of these things I got, my wife is forcing me to watch type thing. No, like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. J-Lo, Owen Wilson, their acting levels. They're both quality actors. They're not, neither of them are given depth here to do. J-Lo's character does have a little bit of an arc. She does have some decisions to make. You know, the Bastion guy is his name. He comes back into her life. He's very full of himself, so he thinks he can just walk right back into her life and take her back. And then she literally has to decide, do I want to now get back with this guy, advance my career even bigger, become the biggest superstar there is on the planet, or this dude over here who doesn't even have Facebook, let alone any type of social media whatsoever, he's actually a pretty great guy. Should I kind of slum it and choose love and be with this dude, you know? And then he's the exact same way because he doesn't know this lady, doesn't know any of her songs or anything like that, just kind of has heard of her because he's not under a total rock, but his daughter loves her, so that's why he gets involved here. And he's like, you know what? Behind the makeup, behind the facade of the superstar that you put on for everybody, you're actually a pretty cool lady. And he mentions a couple of times you're also easy on the eyeball, so that doesn't hurt. So there's a little bit of something here that they put into the script where you are kind of watching the characters make some decisions as to which route they want to go. And do they want to then come out of both of their comfort zones to explore love? I think all of us can relate to that in some capacity. Before you put yourself out there, before you accept getting into a relationship with somebody else, you're going to have to now make yourself completely vulnerable. And we don't want it. Nobody wants to do that. I don't want you seeing behind my curtains. So each of these characters, completely different sides of the tracks, now have to make that decision together. And which one will they go? Which route will they go? They both have easy outs. Easily they can both say, nah, I'm good. Had a thing, had some good chemistry, but I'm going to bounce. But each character then in the end, they decide what they decide. Folks, you can watch this at home right now. It is a lovely movie. I think this week, if you want to sit down with the missus, with the mister, and say, hey, let's watch a little kind of rom-com-y thing here, rock on. There's some good musical numbers. There's some good kid performances in this because, you know, he has the daughter and he's a teacher too. So you have a lot of things at school. Sarah Silverman is not over the top. Sometimes she can give you that comedic relief character where she's like too over the toppy. She's great. I loved her in this. John Bradley, talked about him last week, how he's making a little career here after Game of Thrones. I actually wanted more of him. He's not in this movie as much as I thought he was going to be. So I was kind of bummed that we didn't get more of John Bradley. Chloe Coleman plays the daughter, and she does a great job here. So there is some goods with this. I don't think you will hate your time with this. I promise I don't think you hate. Should you run to the theater to see it? Nah. Watch it at home. Definitely watch it at home. Sorry for those trying to make money. But this week is Valentine's Day week. People are lovey-dovey. It'd be worth it. Throw on Marry Me. I will tell you this. The song in it, expect to see that later on. That song's not going to go away, i.e. we're talking nominations, things like that. Down the road, they're going to circle back to that song, and J-Lo's going to be performing that song a couple of times going forward throughout the rest of 2022. So, but not the Marry Me. There's a different song. Not the Marry Me, Marry Me, Marry Me. I promise you, there's more words to that song. I just don't know them. But that's going to wrap up our review of Marry Me. Guys, I'm on the positive side of it. Don't go in expecting, Macbeth here. Go in expecting just kind of like a turn off my brain and watch a little lovey-dovey story. And if you overthink some decisions that the characters make, you're going to take yourself out of it. Just kind of let them decide for themselves and have a good time. I want you back. I want you back. I want you. We're in a singing mood today. Thank God for you YouTube watchers that we're not in a dancing mood today. That'd be rough. Excuse me, real quick. For Valentine's Day, the wife and I did not buy each other gifts. That was the deal. How many of you other couples go out there and do that? You're like, oh, no gifts this year. We desperately needed new pots and pans. And so splurged. She was debating which ones to get. And I said, honey, spend the extra cash. Get the really expensive ones. Checks off Valentine's Day. Deal. Done. The wife pulled a move and still got me a present and got me this new refillable water bottle. I've been doing the 16 ounces of water to start your day helps the skin, helps hydrate you, helps all that kind of stuff. So she got me this new refillable, reusable water bottle, so I'm not just refilling a plastic Dasani bottle every single day. Long story, just to let you guys know that I got a new water bottle. Okay, I Want You Back. Rated R. It's out on Prime Video right now. This is Charlie Day, Jenny Slate, Scott Eastwood, Gina Rodriguez, amongst others. Those are your main four here. We talked about this last week. I said $1,000, and then I pulled back so that nobody actually called me on that. That these two characters, Charlie Day and Jenny Slate, are going to get together at the end of this rom-com. Was I right? Do each and every one of you owe me $1,000? Tell you what, instead of the $1,000, how about any of you that haven't given me a 5-star rating and review? I'll take that instead. I would gladly accept that instead. Just a quick little 5-star rating and review, and it can just say, Brian was right. I want you back. Or, Brian, I want you back. Just put that. That would be swell. I will take that instead of the money, because we predicted it, folks. They get broken up with. They both get dumped. Jenny Slate gets dumped by Scott Eastman, future Wolverine. We'll talk about that in Marvel. And then, what's the guy's name? Charlie Day gets dumped by Gina Rodriguez. And they're both put in these awkward situations where, you know, their partner thinks they want more out of life, so they need to move on. And these who are like, what? This is totally out of left field type thing. They meet each other because they work in the same building. And then, what? Crazy. You just got dumped last night too? What are the odds of that? Hey, you know what we should do? Stranger, become best friends and try and break up their relationship so that we can get our people back. Because now their exes are now in new relationships, and it's a factor as to why they got broken up with in the first place. Charlie Day is fantastic. I think Charlie Day really needs to be in every comedy out there. And here's the kicker with this. This isn't your over-the-top, slapsticky, one-liner left and right comedy. I don't think there was maybe 2-3 times where I laughed. There's a couple in there, but it keeps you in the positive mind frame and a smile on your face, at least, as you're watching this film. There's some silliness and some fun conversation and some witty banter that keeps it a comedy. But this isn't your style of Charlie Day where he's kind of getting a little slapsticky little, one-liner or whatever. I just think he's great. Jenny Slate, also, this is a film that I was kind of a little curious. My total Jenny Slate knowledge almost only consists of Parks and Rec, and that's a over-the-top character, right? So I was like, I kind of want to see her in a lead role. This is intriguing. Eastwood, Gina Rodriguez. Eastwood, nothing but Rodriguez we know from her stuff as she was younger. Either way. The movie is actually pretty damn good. I actually enjoyed watching it, even though I predicted last week before what would happen in the end, right? We all could see this writing on the wall. But again, this is another movie where you're going to just be like, all right, I'm going to watch this storyline play out. Choices made by some of the characters. Why did they make this decision when they easily could have made that decision? We wouldn't have been watching the movie. That's why. As they try and break each other up, Charlie Day decides, I'm going to become best friends with Scott Eastwood and then talk him out of his new relationship. Since then he'll be single, he'll now just get back with Jenny Slate's character. Jenny Slate, same thing on the other end. She thinks, I'll try and become pals with Gina Rodriguez's character and her new beau, and I'll talk them into having a threesome, because then she'll be so turned off by the new boyfriend wanting to have a threesome, she'll come running back to Charlie Day, whom she considers like a safe option. Brilliant strategies here. There's a lot of little comedy things in here, a lot of little cute little scenes of Charlie Day and Jenny Slate just not knowing that they're getting along so well, not knowing that their chemistry is building, not knowing that they're actually entering themselves into a relationship, until eventually both of them realize, wait a second, what are we doing here, Harry? Maybe you're the one I should have been the whole time, right? I'm going to let you guys watch. I told you last week the ending of this, whether they get together or not. But there are some intriguing things in here, like, do they break up the relationships of Scott Eastwood, Gina Rodriguez, and their new partners? Do they make them come back to them in any capacity? Does those people find out what happened this whole time and now everybody's mad at everybody type thing? It's rated R. And I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. The threesome scene, there's no nudity whatsoever. There's, another smoochy boochy scene. I think you see Eastwood's butt cheek. And then I think there's a couple of bad words, but if there were, I missed them, and therefore they didn't need to be in there. And maybe they could have taken 2 or 3 lines of dialogue out, innuendo wise, that would have made this PG-13. I was very surprised when I saw after the film it was rated R. I was like, oh, that was a cute little film, and I was like, wait a second, when was that? Why was that rated R? So unless I blinked and missed, nudity in some capacity, or maybe like a third F-bomb that gives it that R rating. I'm not sure why it's rated R, and that made me think, whatever it was that put it over the top to be rated R, maybe they shouldn't have done that. You know, PG-13 would have sold much better than R, so we could have just gone down that route. Hit me up on the side, guys, if I'm missing what scene made this thing rated R. Like, did I fall asleep during like a sex scene or something, and I totally missed out, or anyway. Either way, this movie's cute. It's better than Marry Me. If you're on the fence, should I do I Want You Back on Prime? Should I go over to Marry Me? I would vote I Want You Back. It's got a little more depth to it, flows a little bit better. Also, it's about an hour and 45 minutes, so your same time frame. And I actually enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my time with it, even though you know what's going to happen. You kind of know the ending. And for those of you that doubted me and my predictions, 5-star rating review would be very swell. I very much so appreciate it. I also looking forward to Jenny Slate and what she does next. And I know some of you out there are probably very familiar with her career, and that's awesome. I simply am not. And I just know of her, and I knew it from Parks and Rec and like one other thing. I kind of want to see her in another, drama, in another, legitimate thing. If I'm out of my gourd on that, because I got some text last week from some folks for missing out on something, hit me up, 667-365-8253. What product of Jenny Slate's am I missing? I do believe I've seen all of Charlie Day's work, because he's fantastic. Any hoot. We will talk about Scott Eastwood a little bit later on in Marvel. I kind of gave that away. But on the same channel that you can find a lot of Marvel products is the old Disney Plus. And Disney Plus finally wrapped up Mandalorian Season 2.5. Sorry, nope. Finally wrapped up the Book of Boba Fett Season 1. Funny. That's a funny joke. I bet nobody's made that joke before. Good one. Zinger. Got him. Hang on. Book of Boba. This is the life of Boba Fett. This is the life of Boba Fett. Oh my God. Why are you not on this, Disney Plus? Get Andrew Garfield, get him on there, give me a trailer. This is the life of Boba Fett. Anyone that hasn't seen Tick Tick Boom is like, what the front door is he talking about? That is the dumbest whatever. And anyone who has seen Tick Tick Boom is like, why don't you just leave that? Leave that alone. Leave that to Garfield. Here's the deal, guys. I liked episodes 1 through 4. I was fine with it. Was it good? No. But was it world building? Was it something different? Did it give us a, side stuff of Star Wars that we didn't need to immerse ourselves into the Skywalker saga? Yeah, good stuff. When Solo came out, a reason I didn't like the film, and I liked the film, but parts of it that I wasn't a fan of. Sometimes characters with mystique or with a mystery behind them, leave them. We never knew what the Kessel Run was. We never knew kind of how long 12 parsecs were, right? We didn't know how Han and Chewie met. We didn't know how Han got his name, right? And then we got those answers. And those answers were meh, top to bottom. And so I think that was a detriment to that movie Solo, because I think people were like, oh, that's it? That's why? I think I would have rather just like built it up in my head. That is the character of Boba Fett, right? Boba Fett is a cult fandom that loved Boba Fett going into these from the original 3 films. My always thing about Boba Fett was he died so easy. I was like, wait, that's how you kill one of the badass bounty hunters of all time in Star Wars. But maybe we don't need to flesh out this character. Maybe this is a character that is better left alone. And so I think that's where some people were kind of not loving episodes 1 through 4. You're kind of like, all right, you're giving me this backstory. Like, I don't need to see Boba Fett telling jokes. I don't need to see him, riding the cruiser and like being funny to a degree. I don't need to see him being personable. Boba Fett's a bad guy. Why am I now liking Boba Fett? I shouldn't be. He should be at best an anti-hero, right? So I think that's why eps 1 through 4, a lot of folks weren't loving it. And I get it. I'm with you. I can see your angle where just subconsciously, why are you now making me love someone who tried to kill Luke Skywalker and Han Solo, who I despised for those 3 original films? And if all this is nostalgia, kissing my nostalgia butt, I don't know what that sounds was. Now you're changing it. Now you're trying to tell me that when I was a kid and I hated Boba Fett and my action figures was always Boba Fett was the bad guy, Han Solo the good guy, make them fight. Now you're telling me maybe they shouldn't have been fighting. I think that's where it was kind of butthurting some feelings out there for some people who are Star Wars heads. Episodes 5, 6, 7 things change. Mando shows up. Everybody loves it. Grogu shows up. Oh, P.S. Spoilers. We're going to go spoilers on this one. Spoiler. I'll put it in the show notes for anybody that I just goofed on that. Whoops, sorry about that. We will be doing spoilers for the entire series, for Book of Boba Fett. So that's where I think, people might think... sorry. I lost my train of thought because I feel bad that I just didn't put that spoiler warning out there already. 5, 6, and 7, Mando shows up. Changes the story. Now we do an entire episode devoted to Mandalorian. We do another episode that has Mando and Grogu. And then we filter that into then Boba Fett. And then the finale is this big fight scene. Now, here's the kicker. Eps 1 through 4, world built to get us to the finale. We didn't necessarily need Mando Grogu, but we needed to establish that. And we used 2 full episodes to establish him and a Grogu reunion for the finale. So 1 through 6 was nothing but one-off episodes building to the finale in this big, huge fight scene. I felt the payoff, though. We had episodes 1 through 4 to find out that Boba Fett became friends with the Tuskens and became friends with people you wouldn't think he would become friends with and be traded with and accepted by their society. But then in the end, the big battle scene, the Syndicate winds up murdering them and blaming somebody else. And now there's a big reveal to Boba Fett that no, it was actually the Syndicate that killed them. But I felt like that reveal to Boba Fett wasn't so demonstrative that he was like, no, you were the ones, now you die. Cad Bane is just the one that's like, BT Dub, you got it wrong. You should have been angry at these dudes the whole time. You shouldn't have been striking deals with them. You should have been killing them. But he didn't even say all that. So I felt like the 1 through 4 building of this didn't pay off in the end for why he would then be angry to then want to bounty hunt and kill the whole Syndicate. He only wanted to kill the Syndicate because they were attacking him, trying to kill him. It was all retaliation. So I felt they kind of goofed that part up, where they didn't hold enough power in Boba Fett's head to why I'm going to be angry at these people. B, why is he wanting to kill Cad Bane? Only because they're about to go one-on-one? I wish we would have built that up a little bit more. Let Cad Bane be the one to kill them. Let him be the one that did him dirty. So that way they're just like, fighting for a reason as opposed to fighting because they're just one-on-one in the street and trying to take over. And he's hired by him. I don't know. I felt they missed a little bit of a mark here. B, I felt bad for Boba Fett in the series because you came off of Mando's finale, season 2, that was top level. Star Wars, top level, every film, every product, every animated series, every book. That final scene of Mando season 2, it ranks top 3 for almost every Star Wars fan in the history of Star Wars, right? It ranks up there almost unanimously across the board. What do you give me next? We now shift down into neutral for Boba Fett. So I feel a lot of people poo-pooed it, not rightfully so, because you're on such a high. You needed to kind of back up and just accept, all right, let's build this up, let's build this up, let's build this up. That's what we did. We had 7 episodes of building things up. Okay, Cad Bane, not dead. He'll be back. The little light started blinking at the end there. He's back, right? Did enjoy that Boba Fett then did use the Tusken Raider. So that was cool. I did like that callback that they threw that in there. It was a while. I was a little, that final fight scene, like how many times are you guys going to shoot the force field? I was thinking all this time you're spending shooting the force field of these robots that are destroying your town. Why don't you like dig a trench and like just dig underneath? Like, is there no sewer system in Tatooine? Do they not have sewers? Someone jump in the sewer when it comes over top. Now, boop, pop up through the thing, kill him, done. Right? Mando like go underneath, take the Darksaber, slice him in half, one down, go get the other guy. That's what I was thinking. Maybe they don't have, public toilets, public commodes, plumbing in Tatooine. I've never seen someone flush a commode in Tatooine, so maybe that's an issue, and therefore they don't have a sewer system. That could be why. If they did, they would have defeated those things way faster. I get it. I thought that the Boba Fett's gang, that to me they looked like Back to the Future Part 2, looked like Biff's gang with all the different colored cruisers. They were cool, and I know a lot of people got burnt out of seeing the one guy with the spinning shot or whatever. It was badass in the scene when you did see it. So, all right, I just rambling. I'm not even putting out the goods here because this is spoiler section. So you guys all saw Boba Fett. You saw what happened. I liked it overall. I thought I liked it better than what a lot of people are putting out there. The finales, episodes 5 and 6, fantastic. My heart was being tugged when Mando looks up at Grogu and Skywalker, and they're just like, oh my god. I like that Grogu chose to go with Mando. I think part of that might be because if he chose to train with Luke, we're going to need 5-6 more episodes, not full eps, but scenes in each of like 5 episodes of Mando season 3 of Luke Skywalker. And how much does that CGI cost? P.S. I saw people poo-pooing that CGI. What is wrong with you? What, like, I literally, and high-end people were like, oh, the mouth didn't exactly, shut the front, are you nuts right now? That's what you're nitpicking? That his mouth didn't specifically move perfectly? What did you watch this on? That was brilliant. That CGI was absolutely brilliant. Nuts. You have this character absolutely nuts. And so to the folks that out there that thought the CGI was kind of mad. What did you want? What were you expecting to see in this capacity? I don't know what you guys are expecting. Like, your standards are way too high for me because I thought that was insane. You get a scene with Ahsoka and Luke talking about Darth Vader, like just regular conversation. Talking, oh yeah, I knew your dad. Like, this friend of the family. Like, you're talking about freaking Darth Vader. Like, it's nothing. Whatever. And then just also kind of conversing with Luke about it. Like, that's insane. That scene was absolutely nuts. Childhood Brian was just like, are you serious right now? Are you kidding? So I loved all of that. Loved every little bit of that. I'm looking forward to Mando season 3. I don't even know if we'll get a Boba Fett season 2. What adventure is he now going on? Because now we've turned him. He's not even, at this moment, he's barely even an anti-hero, to be honest. Barely even an anti-hero. He runs that town. People are genuflecting in front of him, giving him gifts and fruit and crap like that, right? So why? I don't know. And now we have to watch an adventure of Boba Fett as a good guy, where I'm just cheering for him. Maybe it's just me being nitpicky, saying I didn't want my Boba Fett to be a bad guy, but either way, he's badass. I can't end this without talking about Ming-Na Wen as Fennec Shan. She's just badass. I love it. Give her a series. Give her a spin-off series. Hired assassin. 4 eps. Just 4 eps. Her as a hired assassin going on a mission trying to kill people. It'd be rock on. Mando season 3. Now this sets it up. I think the other thing here is, last thing. I think maybe folks were expecting this to be just Boba, just all about that. But in the end, what this all was a building of this world. Boba, Mando, all of these people are all connected. And whereas we just spent a lot of films devoted to just this saga, just the Skywalkers, and we didn't spend a lot of time on other sections of the galaxy, this is telling us that there's a lot of other crap going on. And I think that's what we need to accept. Should we expect to see Boba Fett in Mando Season 3? Yes. If he doesn't show up, is that okay? Also yes. But I think all of these things going forward, it's just like an open slate. This is a storyline based on Boba, but at one point he does need help from Mando, Fennec, what have you. Vice versa. I think maybe that's where people were angry, and I'm with you. I was like, time out. Why is this, this is kind of a boring story. Oh, I get it. It's a bigger culmination of this world that we're trying to look at. I loved it. And I know some people are out there like, I've just seen too much Star Wars right now. There's so much Star Wars. Don't watch, man. I disagree. That the whole mindset of like, oh, there's too many superhero movies, there's too many Star Wars movies. Sorry. At one point, I guess people were like, there's too many Westerns, and then they stopped making Westerns, and then they came back and people were like, wow, I love Westerns. Why'd they stop making them? I don't know. Just keep making the movies. If people don't like them, don't watch them. But you're not watering it down for me yet. That's for sure. That it has not been watered down for me yet. Done with the reviews. Done with Book of Boba Fett. Done with Marry Me. Done with I Want You Back. Now we're going to move along. Now, interview time. Jonathan Stoddard. Again, folks, fantastic interview. This is a little bit lengthy. I hope you guys enjoy it. Use the timestamps to rewind and re-listen to this interview later if you must, because phenomenal job. And circle this guy's name because he's got a lot of big things coming up. He's already done some bigs, and he's got even biggers coming up. And we talk about not only his acting and performing and projects he has coming, but also just regular life, fun stuff like that. Honestly, this is another one of these interviews where I get to meet someone new. I get to chat with them. By the end of it, I'm like, hey, man, do you want to go grab a beer or a bourbon? Because He just seems like a great guy, a regular guy, someone that you could just sit down with and hang out with. You know what I mean? Pretty sure I invited him to my house. Pretty sure by the end I did send out the invite. That is weird. That might have been awkward now that I think about it. I might have to listen and re-edit this so that doesn't come up. Jonathan Stoddard, actor, performer. Check him out right now. Welcome, everybody, to another great interview here at Take Two Podcast. I'm joined by Mr. Jonathan Stoddard. He is arguably the busiest actor of all time right now. I went down a rabbit hole looking up the things that he's done and is doing, and I was like, okay, my pen's running out of ink here. I can't take this many notes for this gentleman, but we will get around to that. Jonathan, what's up, man?
How's it going? I'm so wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for jumping on. All right, let me lead off with something that you and I are automatically connected in. And my daughter's birthday is March 31st.
Yes.
Yep. Good day.
You had to drop that on me here as a surprise. That's
yes,
awesome.
surprise one. I did want to pre tell you that one. Yeah, a few years after yours, just a few years. She turns 14 this year, which is a fun age to have a 14-year-old daughter right now. But yeah, as soon as I was like, oh, that's Lucy's birthday too. That's awesome.
Oh, that's amazing. It really is. I don't know. There's something about March 31st. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure you've noticed. She's probably really precocious, really amazing. I'm just saying those traits kind of run with the day.
I wonder if your parents were like myself, and that I was praying to not get to that April 1st. I was like, oh, don't give her like an April Fool's baby. I don't want her to, life's hard enough sometimes as it is. But
yeah, no, my mom tells that story. She's like, the day was creeping up. She was like, I started pushing. I did not want it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I do want to talk about a bunch of projects that you've done, some things going forward, but I want to get to know you a little bit. My wife and I honeymooned in Venice for a little while, and you were a chef there. Can you agree that
Correct.
city is not an actual place on Earth? Because it just looks magical the second you step foot in there.
It is phenomenal. And I will say, so recently I got to go back to Venice. So I cooked in Venice for a little bit. I left, decided I was going to be an actor. And it's been something like 14, 15 years since I've been back. And I just went back right after the new year. And I got to see my old chef, which was over at Harry's Bar, just inside of Piazza San Marco. And it is phenomenal. There is nothing like Venice anywhere else on the planet.
Now, living there, as you did for a while, we were there for 3 days, and I literally had to throw my wife over my shoulder, drag her out of there. The place it looks like Walt Disney kind of drew it up on a map. It just, you're looking at, you want to touch the walls. Like, it is a building. Okay. Does that kind of go away? Does that stick with you for a while, living there for a day in and day out?
Oh yeah, 100%. Everything about the culture to the lifestyle, there's an interesting laid back because you're not actually part of a city. So you're not involved in this hustle and bustle. You're just like, well, I'm going to get up. I'm going to walk around all these maze-like kind of streets in between all these buildings. That's kind of the allure and everything. And then all the interesting artistry. And that's from the paintings, the drawings, all the Murano glass that they sell there, just because Murano isn't that far, the glass blowing island.
Yeah.
And so all of it is just absolutely stunning and breathtaking. And then, of course, as you know, as I'm sure why your wife didn't want to leave, is because the tax incentive for buying Gucci and Prada and all of these things, you can get some really nice clothes with a 20%. I think it's like 10, 15, 20% tax return when you get to the airport.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's worth it. Yeah, you're right. The only hustle and bustle I endured there is one of the gentlemen each morning that go by and collect the trash as they run up and down the alleyways, whatever. One guy almost got me. I was like, okay. All right, that's big city life here in Venice. That was it. Okay, enough of that kind of stuff. I did want to ask you, did Steve Spielberg not want to call you to play Tony again in West Side Story?
Oh, I don't know if he knows my name yet.
He should. He should. But
yeah, we're working on it. I've got carrier pigeons sent out, so eventually it'll get to him.
Maybe in the sequel. But you did play Tony growing up. That's pretty cool.
That was a very special time for me. That was in high school, and especially with, even in the real world, as you're growing up, like you get into a new environment, freshman, sophomore, and there's always the seniors and everyone else who, they've already been doing the theater projects. So everyone already knows them. Everyone always gets cast above you.
Sure.
And so for me to get stuff like the MC and Cabaret and Tony and West Side Story and Orsino and 12th Night and stuff like that, I just love being on the stage and doing theater. It was a magical time for me.
Now, if I can humble brag and relate for a quick second, in the 6th grade, I was cast as Oliver. And no 6th grader had ever been cast in the lead in the school's play at St. Joseph's in Beltsville. And the crowd
it's a
went
huge
nuts.
deal.
It was big. And I carried that for the next 3 years on my shoulder. Everyone knew, hey, I was Oliver, 6th grade, 7th, 8th grade, just complete ego boost the entire way out. So pretty much the same. That's the exact same thing, right?
It is a superhero emblem. It is the cape.
That is, right?
You fly through school after that point.
100%. Mostly it was because at that point in my life, I was only like 5 foot, maybe, and it worked perfect. But either way, we'll say, hey, don't fight the typecast, right? All day long.
Exactly. You're like 20, but can play 13.
Oh, I wish. That would be fantastic. Okay, let's rock into some serious things. You had a very busy, I was going through, you had a film that released over in France back in October, Beauty of Love. That's getting a US release coming up soon. December, Furry Little Christmas, obviously December time. The January, Killer Ambition. I was just like month, checking things off. Work our way backwards. Lifetime Project, Killer Ambition. This looks fun. I almost downloaded the Lifetime app last night just so I could watch it. How much fun was making a Lifetime movie?
So there are all these different little pockets of Lifetime movies. So Mar Vista is doing a bunch of them. ACI is doing some of them. Real One, who I'm working a lot with as well. So there are these independent groups, and some of them have remarkable histories and they've done huge projects, but now the tables have turned and TV online distribution platforms have opened up this whole new channel for creating movies for television or just for immediate distribution. So it is run and gun. You're shooting a movie in less than a month, but they're on point. And a lot of the times, you're working with people who know what they're doing, how to do it, and they're great. And everyone who wants to be there because no one wants to do a quick movie in a short amount of time. It is not a fun thing if you have a bad apple. So I don't know. I love doing it, and I've really enjoyed working with all of the different teams and getting to know everyone on a very personal relationship level.
Do you prefer, I would assume most people would prefer trying to get into a well-oiled machine, things that are very positive, and then also knocking it out in a month so far. But does that help you in learning your lines and your preparation where you've got to be ready on that day type thing? Or do you prefer a little extra prep time?
It depends. Like the movie that I'm doing now, we start filming tomorrow. So right after this interview, actually, I'm like chopping off all my hair for the role. I have to learn a Royal British accent, or I had to. Let's hope that I have it down by now. And it is just going to be interesting because I wish I would have had more time to be able to prepare for it leading into it. You can do remarkable things, like we can, as human beings, we can do phenomenal things, but at what cost? And that's usually what most people don't want to face in this industry. It's like you can transform your body immensely in the course of a week, but no one wants to eat what you have to eat and hustle that hard in order to get it done. You can learn a new language in a week if you do certain things, just no one wants to work that hard. You have family, you have life, you have school, you have bills to pay, you have other things. Makes it almost impossible. So kind of gotten into this really interesting rhythm of life doesn't exist outside of this. I have to train, learn a whole new set of skills, shoot, train, learn a whole new set of skills, shoot, train, learn a whole new set of skills. And it's just going.
Insane. Well, I look forward to actually watching it. Like I said, I was watching the trailer and watched the preview. I was like, oh, I want to jump on board and actually watch this amongst other things. But folks, if you're listening going forward, you're going to get to watch. I stalked your IMDb page for a minute, and I saw off the top 14 projects in the works. I was like, what? This guy's the busiest man on earth. This is nuts. Congrats on that. Congrats on booking 14 roles. That's fantastic.
Well, thank you.
You're starting one obviously tomorrow. Anything else, one of them that's jumping out to you that stands out that you're really ready to push forward coming out soon?
So other than the one that just got released in France and the UK and everything is called The Beauty of Love, and that's more romance than rom-com. I think it's just going to be a really cute, lovely movie. I don't have an immediate release date. They haven't told us anything for the US, but
Okay.
I think it's going to be great when it comes out. After that, I don't know what to expect about release dates. There were
Sure.
certain projects that were supposed to get released during quarantine and then got delayed. So those movies are going to be coming out soon.
Okay.
I did about 19 movies in just last year, which I can't even begin to explain the process, because even you know, as an actor, once you finish a movie, you're fired. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Sure.
So it was a wild ride last year, and then going into this year, I was in Venice, and I was like, okay, this is the first vacation I've had in a long time, and I think that's it. I think I peaked. I'm done. There's no way that I'm going to do, another 19 movies or anything like that. And then immediately started off this year. Just left filming Florida for one, and then while I was there, everything that I auditioned for, I booked. And so I'm now booked all the way through, I think, the end of May.
Beautiful.
And it's literally project after project with either one day in between or a week in between. And I don't know how to explain what's happening. I'm just counting my blessings and just, keep moving forward.
Well, selfishly as a podcaster, that tells me I have an opportunity to get you back on the show come May, April, March. Once some of these things start releasing, we need to promote or just sit there and chit chat. I will say this, folks, I'm going to tag Jonathan on all of our socials, so that way you can follow his Instagram, because he's going to live feed shaving his head to cut off all of your hair, right? Yes. Maybe I just made that up.
That's like 2 movies from now. 2 movies from now.
Whatever.
I do want to do I want to do something like that so I can look as good as you.
There we go. No, you're gonna take my Lex Luthor roles. No, you'll take my roles. Please. That's awesome. That's good stuff.
Okay. Maybe I won't right now.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll hold off for now. You can keep all those roles.
Gotcha.
I'll back off. I'll just do the Prince stuff. That's fine.
There we go. Perfect. I did want to ask you about the resourceful actor, something that you're involved in.
Yes.
A little bit of giving back, a little helping out other actors. On this show, I speak with a lot of independent actors, a lot of people just working really hard, project to project, and not knowing when the next one is. And I think, from what I was reading, this is similar in helping in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I started the Resourceful Actor back in 2014, and originally it was because after I left Venice, I slept on a couch and I tried breaking into the industry. And I started doing extra work. I was discovered and started doing extra work for like a year and a half, 2 years. And no one really had a way in. Everything from getting my SAG card to getting upgraded in commercials, just to be able to try to figure things out, was all about self-discovery, breaking the rules, trusting my instincts and intuition and all this kind of stuff. But all we do, or at least all I did as an actor, and when I talk to other actors, all we want to do is surrender our CEO position. We keep saying these things like, once I become SAG, then my career is made. Once I get an agent, then boom, now you know I made it. Once I book that first lead role, it's game over. And unfortunately, that's not the truth.
True.
And so the Resourceful Actor for me was about empowering people to be resourceful. Stop giving away your power to other people. And my career, I didn't start becoming a full-time actor until I actually really owned this concept. And that's the business side of it. That's the marketing side of it, the sales side of it. So as much as it is cool to go to a class and learn how to cry on cue, unfortunately, that's not going to book you the jobs.
Sure.
But understanding business and marketing and advertising and how to own who you are and be your own CEO and get out there. So teaching became a really, really valuable platform for me to try to offer that shortcut for people. There are a lot of people who know how to do it, but not necessarily know how to communicate it. And so this has always been something that's been near and dear to my heart.
That's brilliant. That's beautiful. I wish I was involved in that in 24. I remember I did House of Cards, my first featured role. Nice. It was a phenomenal day. Met all the big name players, even the gentleman whose name we're not allowed to say anymore, all that. Like, it was the best day ever. And the next day, like, we just filmed. The next day, I'm just like sitting there just staring at my phone, like, why aren't you ringing? I'm very confused right now. Why? This is very confusing.
Don't they know?
Yeah. I was just on set yesterday. I shook hands with everybody. I'm very confused. That's brilliant. That's awesome. And send me, after this, any ways that I can kind of push that as well. I'd love to get that word out there more for more actors, especially in our DC, Maryland, I'm just north of DC, Maryland area, and a lot of stuff got hit hard, especially after that show specifically ended. With
Yeah.
people now like, oh, I just had steady work and now the work went away. And I'm sure there's plenty of people right now. We're kind of coming out of the pandemic, desperately now trying to get back out there and start working. That's probably a huge help.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say one of the biggest challenges is that when I'm not working as much, I'm able to hold classes, seminars, participate. I'm offered to be a speaker a lot of the times and create a course or something like that, to which I absolutely love. The hardest thing about this last year, the last year and a half and everything, has been the inability to teach. And I feel it every single day. And all I want to do is just get on and be like, hey guys, let me show you how to, like, what is it, the Steve Jobs, when he was doing the college talk, and he said it's impossible to see the dots and how they connect looking forward, but it's easy when you look back. And so much of the inspiration, I think, as actors is being able to say, look at how these dots connected. There was no way that I could have predicted this. So what's going on in your life that maybe you're overlooking because it's not the obvious sign? And so I structure a lot of my classes around that, but I haven't been able to be as hands-on as I would like. But when I do, I will definitely.
Brilliant. Okay.
I would like to, yeah. So I will definitely team up with you because I want to get back into the promotion and teaching of the classes and try to figure out how to incorporate that with the busy schedule that's also happening.
Sure. Any good, you mentioned commercial upgrades, any good, Geico I got to do, I got upgraded and I was simply, as a background extra, guy comes in, is like, you've got the look, let's go. Instant bump up, right? My first SAG credit is just because the producer is like, you've got the look, right? It happens, right? To the best of people and the worst. Any good upgrade stories like that for yourself?
Yeah. I had heard somewhere, somebody said, and it's classic advice, dress for the part you want.
Okay.
So I went in for a Lexus spot that a friend of mine in San Francisco, we used to see each other in the audition room all the time. And he's a great guy. He's now actually a director in LA and stuff. But at the time we were both struggling, and he was like, hey man, I have this extra job on Saturday. I can't go. And I was like, oh, I'll go. But that'll be great. So I took a spot, and it was a Lexus. It was called Flash Bulbs was the commercial title. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, Lexus, what's the upscale stuff that I had? I was poor at the time. So I actually went to Macy's, and I was like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. So I bought a wardrobe with the intention of returning it after the job, because I didn't have the clothes, right? We're poor. I'm working at a restaurant or valet or something.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do what the movies do. And while I was there, like, I had the scarf, and they're sectioning people out. And I had gone up to the first AD, and I don't know what I said, but I started saying like little things of like, hey, where's the best place to stand? But just made sure that I didn't ask someone who couldn't make empowering decisions later.
Okay.
And all I know is that he was like, when he was sectioning people off, he's like, we want to put you next to the principals. And I was like, okay, I'm getting close. And I like dressed for the part, got ready, did my hair, the whole thing, because they don't do that for you as an extra. And then while I was sitting there, at one point, the DP calls over the director, and he's like, can we afford this shot? And the director was like, yeah, we can afford it. I'm in the spot for maybe 2 seconds. They ran that spot for 4 years, and I made about $40,000 a year from it.
That's crazy.
For 4 years.
No kidding.
Little things like that changed my life. And I actually got upgraded on, I think, 3 or 4 other commercials, to a point where I was like, okay, I have this down to a science. I can help teach other people, at least increasing chances. It's not a guarantee every time, but there are certain things you can do.
Sure.
But that was probably that was one that clicked for me.
Nice. And your friend that didn't show up and you took his spot, he's wanted a percentage of that every day since then, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's like, it's a finder's fee. Come on.
Right, exactly. It's just a simple 5%. That's all I ask, right? Oh man, Jonathan, I could talk to you for hours, buddy. Next time your busy schedule brings you down DC, down the Maryland way, we got to grab a drink and just swap actor war stories and just kind of hang out, man. This has been an absolute blast.
Yes,
I
please.
appreciate it. Folks listening, check out Killer Ambition. It's on Lifetime right now. The more things that drop, and as they drop, we'll promote them all year long, multiple years long, just because you're such a busy guy. And congrats again on that. I'm not kidding.
Thank you.
Come back on the show anytime you want. We don't even have to talk about ourselves or whatever movies you're watching. Award season stuff's coming up. Anytime you want to chit chat movies, you get an extra minute. Give me a call, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. I hope you guys are having a good time. I know this episode is way longer and it's going to get even lengthier. Man, I should have made this a part 1, part 2. But too bad. On to our casting couch. Tom Welling, Superman himself. Ooh, I can't call him Superman. He was Clark Kent. He never actually was Superman. But Tom Welling, Smallville fame, amongst other things, is in a movie called Deep Six. It starts filming next month in March. It's kind of like Suicide Squad-y, but it's just him. He's in jail. He gets let out of jail because he's the only guy that can help complete a mission. Don't know what the mission is. We will find out. Movie's called Deep Six, starring Tom Welling. Grease. Prequel series. Chris McNally has been cast in Grease. And it's something about the Pink Ladies. Return of the Pink Ladies. Rise of the Pink Ladies. Maybe Rise of the Pink Ladies. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. Paramount Plus. This is a series. This takes place about 4 years before Sandy and the T-Birds and Grease. It takes place about 4 years before that, where the Pink Ladies become a thing. Which, in my opinion, I feel like the Pink Ladies should have been a thing like more than 4 years. But that would have put it like into the 40s. I don't know. Either way, Ride or High. We're going back for a Paramount Plus series starring Chris McNally, amongst other people. I'm sure we'll get better castings as we go along. Only Murders in the Building Season 2, Michael Rappaport is going to be added to that cast. I just expect him to be there bitching about the Knicks the entire time because that's what he does best. And then Challengers, new film. Luca Guadagnino is directing this. Has Josh O'Connor, Mike Faist, and Zendaya all inside this movie. That's a pretty decent cast. Lastly, Bob Marley biopic. Kingsley Ben-Adir. Remember, he played Malcolm X in One Night in Miami. He has been cast as Bob Marley. Just keep playing real life people, man. I mean, he did a phenomenal job as Malcolm X. Now I'm interested to see him playing Bob Marley. From what I have seen, the entire Marley family, clan, completely signed off. They're all on board for everything that is this biopic. All right, so we're going to pivot a little bit here. We're going to do the Oscar noms. I'm going to go quick and then bleed that then into the news. And then everything after that is quick. So this may be the longest little segment. I understand, guys, this episode is going to be a little longer than the others. And again, the timestamps are down below. Anything you want to chat about, 667-365-8253. At Take Two Podcast for Twitter, Take Two Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. I would love to have you guys. And a 5-star rating and review would be amazing. Don't forget to follow Jonathan Stoddard across all of his socials. He's already a super popular guy, but he has earned it. And he earns your follow as well. Oscar noms were dropped, and boy, oh boy, were there some snubbies. I would tell you the very first name dropped surprised me. We'll get to that. It's a later on category. But the very first name they said was, wait, what? I appreciate any of you guys that watch the live video every year. I try and do a live stream, live reaction to the noms. And I'm sure you guys, it's kind of probably boring just watching me react to things as they're read off. But there were some surprises there. There were some definite reactions, if you will. Makeup and hairstyling. We're going to go bounce around a little bit here, but here we go. Makeup and hairstyling, Coming to America, Cruella, Dune, Eyes of Tammy Faye, and House of Gucci. Later on, there will be an Oscar predictions episode, maybe with a special guest, and we will talk about predictions, and that'll have its own episode, I promise you. But for now, maybe I'll just give you off the top of my head prediction type thing here. I love that Coming to America is in this. I love that Cruella is in this. Dune probably is going to be your winner here. Although Eyes of Tammy Faye, they made Garfield chubby, and he's not a chubby guy. But they made him, look chubby. And then, of course, House of Gucci. I mean, Jared Leto alone. Wow, that's a tough category. Not gonna lie. That's tough. Film editing. Don't Look Up. Dune. King Richard. Power of the Dog. Tick, Tick, Boom. Probably Dune. Power of the Dog, though. Salad. Visual effects. Dune. Free Guy. No Time to Die. Shang-Chi. Legend of the Ten Rings. Spider-Man. No Way Home. You can make a heavy argument for all 5 of those films. A heavy argument for all of those. I don't even know. I'm going to have to think on that one. All right. Original score. Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, Power of the Dog. To me, it's Parallel Dog. Yep. Parallel Dog or The Power of the Mothers, which is a totally different movie, right? Power of the Dog. It would be my winner there, followed by Dune. But now that I just made that boo-boo, it'll probably be Parallel Mothers. Live action short, Take and Run, The Dress, Long Goodbye, On My Mind, Please Hold. I'm not familiar with either, so I don't want to comment. Animated short, Affairs of the Art, Bestia, Box Ballet, Robin or Windshield Wiper. Congrats to them. Achievement in Sound, Belfast, Dune, No Time to Die, Power of the Dog, West Side Story. I kind of like No Time to Die here. I don't know why. I really do. All of them. Again. You know, I had mentioned this leading into this, especially if you follow on Twitter. My thoughts. There were going to be snubs going into this because these categories are loaded. Like all of these, I can make an argument for all five. There are very few categories that are on here where it's just like, well, that's a. We don't need to worry about that one. It's definitely going to be one of these two type thing. There are very few. Costume design, Cruella, Cyrano, Dune, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story. I mean, Cruella? Give it to Cruella because it does go period, you know, a section back in time plus the wild fashion plus I'll give it to Cruella. Cinematography, Dune, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, Macbeth, and West Side Story. Give me some Macbeth on that, man. Give me some Macbeth on that. Granted, Dune, oh, beautiful. Nightmare Alley. You know, the thing about Nightmare Alley and cinematography, and I mentioned this in the review just last week, is that it seamlessly goes from poor to carny to high elite status society, big city, and the through line is seamless with the cinematography, with the filming, with the colors, with all that kind of thing. Ooh, man, that's definitely why I got a nom. Dune, tough to beat. Production design, Dune, Nightmare Alley, same arguments. Power of the Dog, Macbeth, and West Side Story, again, same thing. We will come back to you, sir. Screenplay, Belfast, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Worst Person in the World. Can't comment on that one because I haven't seen the other ones. Probably Licorice Pizza seems to be the favorite there. Adapted screenplay, Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog. Adapted screenplay, Coda. Just because I love Coda, give me some Coda. I would take that all day. Animated feature, Encanto, Flea, Luca, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, Raya and the Last Dragon. Snub, No Sing 2. What? But I think I like the five that are there. I don't know if I would have put Sing 2 over Raya and the Last Dragon, to be honest with you. So, original song, Richard, Encanto, Belfast, No Time to Die, Four Good Days. Billie Eilish could get an Oscar. She already has a Grammy, halfway to an EGOT, and she's only 16 years old, right? I don't know, 22 years old. Good for her. Doc feature, Ascension, Attica, Flea, Summer of Soul, Writing with Fire. I bet you Flea grabs it there. Doc short, Audible, Lead Me Home, Queen of Basketball, 3 songs for Benazir, and When We Were Bullies. Not a clue. International feature film, also, you know, the old foreign film category. Drive My Car, Flea, Hand of God. A Yak in the Classroom, Lunana. And The Worst Person in the World, probably Worst Person in the World, although Flea is in there. Drive My Car is fantastic. Ooh, that's a tough one. A tough one for sure. Okay, so let's see. Let's do actor in a leading role. Bardem for being the Ricardos. Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog. Andrew Garfield, Tick Tick Boom. Will Smith for King Richard. And Denzel. I'm sorry. I don't know the love for Bardem. I don't see it. He does a great job. I don't see it. I don't see the love that he's getting here. Everybody else, I'm in. Garfield, great. Cumberbatch, great. Denzel and Will, great. Snubs in this category. Leo, a lot of people liked and Don't Look Up. Tom Holland, I thought, is worthy of a nom for his performance in Spider-Man. And then Nick Cage and Pig. Those are, to me, the big 3 snubs in this area. I honestly would have put Holland over Bardem. Probably Cage. Leo I wouldn't have had in there over Bardem, but the other 4 are accurate. I definitely would have rather preferred seeing Tom Holland in here instead of Javier Bardem. His character arc, everything he did there was well worthy of a nomination, and I liked everything he did over Javier Bardem. Actress in a leading role. Jess Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers. That was a bit of a surprise. Nicole Kidman being the Ricardos, and then Kristen Stewart for Spencer. Mild surprise, because people thought because she poo-pooed the Oscars that the Oscars would say, fine, we'll poo-poo on you. We're not going to nominate you. But Hudson not being nominated for Respect, Lady Gaga not being nominated for House of Gucci. And then Rachel Ziegler is the one that I would have put in, probably over Cruise for West Side Story. Those are the snubs, in my opinion, for there. Let's go to director, because that's how this has these things listed, which is a little wonky for me. But Kenneth Branagh, Belfast. Raisuke Hamaguchi, Drive My Car. Paul Thomas Anderson, Licorice Pizza. Jane Campion, Power of the Dog. Steven Spielberg, West Side Story. In my predictions on the internets, 5 for 5 on this, nailed this. And I know Denis Villeneuve is your big snub here. Did he deserve a nom? Yes. Could he have won this category for his direction of Dune? Yes. Did he not get the nom because it's part 1 of a part 2 film? Yes. I 100% believe the Academy felt, well, it's not a complete movie. The story is not done. When it is done, we will give it the nom and probably the win in 2023. And I think that's the simple math of it. I think they honestly probably thought that. They said that movie is not done. When it is done in 2023, everything remains at the same. Simple bar. Don't even do better or worse. Then, yep, Denny will get the nom and we'll probably reward him with the win as a Mako. Same crap that they did with Lord of the Rings. Was that last movie, The Return of the King, the best of those 3 movies? Nope. Was it worthy of winning Best Picture? Nope. Was it a make-up call for like three films to complete that story? Because you needed 3 movies to complete that entire tale? Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Do people agree with it? Disagree with it? That's fine. But I think that's why he got snubbed. As far as this category, don't sleep on Paul Thomas Anderson. Don't sleep on that. I thought Jane Campion is the favorite. I still think she's the favorite. But the more I read some odds and things like that, she's not. Don't sleep on PTA. I mean, I'd love to see Steve Spielberg get it. I heard somewhere that he has now been nominated for Best Director in 7 different decades. That's stupid. That's stupid. 7 different decades the man has been nominated as Best Director. That's insane to me. Absolutely insane. All right, supporting role, actor. Ciarán Hinds for Belfast, Troy Kotsur for Coda, Jesse Plemons, a little bit of a surprise, Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons, a lot of bit of surprise being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith-McPhee, Power of the Dog as well. I think Affleck should have been in here over Simmons. Affleck should have been in here over Jesse Plemons for Tender Bar. I know a lot of people thought Bradley Cooper for Licorice Pizza should have been in here, and I know there's people that even wanted Jared Leto in here for Gucci. I'm so happy that Gucci got snubbed. I did not enjoy that movie. Why people love that movie? Whatever. They had a good time with it. People had a good time with it. I did not. And I can see where sometimes if you can turn your brain off and have a good time, I get it. But either way, good for Plemons. That's awesome. That rocks. But I definitely felt also that Ciarán Hinds, I felt that Jamie Dornan should have had it in this spot instead of he. Speaking of that, on to actress in a supporting role, Jessie Buckley. This was the very first name that was announced, and the very first time that I was like, what? Holy cow. We're in for a ride, and we were for the rest of the thing. Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Judi Dench for Belfast, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, Anjanae Ellis for King Richard. I think this is Ellis's to lose. I want to say it's DeBose's, but from reading the odds, most people like Anjanae Ellis, and that's awesome. Katrina Balfe should be here instead of Judi Dench all day, and that's no knock on Judy. It was Balfe's movie. This is Balfe's movie. And I think the problem is she was almost the lead, and they didn't promote her as the lead because they knew the lead actress category would be too difficult for Balfe to get. So they tried to throw in the supporting, and maybe people were like, ugh, she wasn't supporting, she was the lead. I'm not going to vote for her. So I think that's why Balfe didn't get the nod, because more people felt she was a lead, and they pushed supporting, and they therefore so she didn't get it, and they gave it to Dench instead. Either way, I would have given it to Balfe. Kate Blanchett, Don't Look Up. A lot of people love that. I'm sorry. Not in Don't Look Up. Cripes. In Nightmare Alley, they wanted her nom for Nightmare Alley. And then the big one here is Ruth Negga in Passing. How she doesn't get a nom is beyond me. Beyond me. I do not know. Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons become another couple. I didn't realize how many couples have gotten nominated the same year. Rock on. Also, I'm sorry, I glazed over... what's her name? Bardem and Penelope also were like the 6th married couple to get nominated in actors, and then Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons. I didn't realize how many couples have got nominated in the same year. I was like, oh wow, that might be the first timers. No, I was way off on that, way off. But Good for Dunst and Plemons in their supporting nominations. That's it. All right, on to Best Picture. Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, West Side Story. Here's the deal. When I think about the Oscars, when I think about Best Picture, I watch a movie. When that movie is done, what was I thinking? When I saw Don't Look Up, when I saw Nightmare Alley, when I saw Power of the Dog, when I saw King Richard, I did not turn that off and go, that's the best movie I've watched this year. That was a good time. That was fantastic. Let me push play again. I did for Belfast. I did for Coda. Dune I even enjoyed enough to think I can't wait to watch that again. I cannot speak to Drive My Car. West Side Story. I want to push play again. So those, in my opinion, deserve to be in the Best Picture category. Now, when I left Power of the Dog, I thought, oof, the Academy's going to love that one. The Academy is going to love that one. There's a no-brainer. That is the type of film that the Academy loves. Don't Look Up, I'm sorry, does not deserve to be here. And I'll tell you this, guys. You know how much I hate when some filmmakers add their politics, their politics into the film. I hate it. Either side of the ball. I don't like either side of the ball. But we get a lot of that, what have you. And I liked Don't Look Up. I liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a good movie. But I didn't turn that off thinking, that was a blast. Let me watch that again. That's the best picture I've seen this year. I did, when I walked out of Spider-Man No Way Home, think, that's the best movie I've watched this year. I did, when I watched out of Spider-Man No Way Home, think, I need to watch that again. That movie needs to get nominated. That movie had everything. There's a problem with the Oscars right now, and you people have heard this. I'm just regurgitating what other people have already said, and I've said it on here before. You need to get ratings. You want ratings. You want people to watch your show. Decline has been steady for the show. Last year they did better, and then they mucked it up at the end with one of the worst incidents of all time with the way they changed things up, and then they shot themselves in the foot with it. So the Oscars have been on a steady decline in ratings. How do you fix that? Put in a movie that everyone and their mother has seen. This movie has made more money than God this year. This movie made more money by itself than the other top 10s combined for 2022. Put it in. Don't let it win. Put it in. You want ratings? You want people to watch your show? Put it in. Because the movie's phenomenal. What's its rating on Rotten Tomatoes right now? 89%? What is Don't Look Up? 52. Why, folks? Why? Think. You got 10 pictures here. Okay, here's what we're going to do. 9 of you are worthy, and I'm also going to take this movie that everyone loved and make it a Best Picture. And I'm on a soapbox right now, and I didn't intend to be on a soapbox, but this is how you fix your show, Oscars. And this is from someone who is butthurt in his feelings that people poo-poo the Oscars, something that I love and adore and have parties just to watch this event. Because this is something I want the world to love too. But you're not making the right decisions in fixing it. You cannot sit here and tell me Don't Look Up is a better film. You can't. I'm sorry. You cannot tell me that people watched Nightmare Alley and said that's a much more fun movie to watch. That is a far superior product than Spider-Man No Way Home. It's not. It's not. Great movie? Sure. Nightmare Alley, I told you. If you need to suck it up for 30 minutes and then the movie gets going. There are not 30 minutes that I need to suck up for Spider-Man. Let's get out of here before I say something even dumber. Okay? This is not me being superhero biased. This is me being Oscars angry. Fix your show by getting people who actually saw the movie to come and watch the movie. Should it win? No. Maybe. I take that back. Maybe. Because like I said, when I walked out of Spider-Man, I said, that's the best movie I've watched this year. I had to wipe the tears from my eyeballs. I can't wait to watch it again. These other ones, there's only 3 in there that I thought I can't wait to watch that again. 3 of the 10 there I thought I can't wait to watch it again. Or that's the best thing I've watched this year. Coda, when I left that's the best movie I've seen this year. Belfast, wow, I loved that movie. That was fun. West Side Story, that was a wild ride. Don't Look Up, get out of here. Give me Tick Tick Boom. Give me Spider-Man No Way Home. Licorice Pizza, get lost. Give me Tick Tick Boom. Give me Spider-Man No Way Home. That's it. Bottom line. That's how I feel about those. Sorry. Power the Dog, phenomenally made film. Phenomenally made film. Cinematography, the script, the editing, the acting, across the board. That shit was boring. Boring. It's a boring movie. And I liked it. Because I like movies. And I liked that movie. But I didn't come out of that saying, put that movie as Best Picture so I can buy the Blu-ray and put it on my shelf because I have every single DVD and Blu-ray from every single Best Picture winner and I'm fired up to go get it. Sorry, that movie is boring as hell. Phenomenally made. Both sentences are true. That's it. Give me movies in here that people are excited to see. That's my soapbox. I'm done. Wow, I ranted way too long on that. Way too long. Done with the Oscar noms. Let's move along. Let's move along to the news. Let's get on to the news. Here we go. Oh, wow. We're at it. Man, this, lengthy show. Lengthy show, everybody. Steve Soderbergh wants sex in the MCU. That's it. This actually should have been in the Marvel section, but Steve Soderbergh came out and was like, why isn't there more smoochy boochies in the MCU, man? These characters need to, you're out fighting crime all day. You get home, you pour yourself a glass of Macallan 12 year and you're sitting there with your spouse, I guess, and you got to release some energy somehow, I suppose, right? I'm with you, Steve, but you want to keep these movies PG-13 so they keep cranking out the money. And they've done fine on their own up until this point. They've done perfectly fine on their own. Now, granted, the Peacemaker series, they're making up for it easily, right? But I get where he's coming from, but I think they're doing fine just as they are. Okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi is being released on May the 25th, not May the 4th. Very surprising. Right there for you, Disney Plus. Why? Maybe there's reason. Maybe they're not done. Maybe they're still cleaning things up. And they're like, if you could just give us 3 more weeks, we promise we'll be ready to rock. I did not play that forward. Maybe 6 weeks later, put you into July, blah, blah, type thing, which there's probably math. What am I saying? Disney Plus knows what they're doing. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I just thought it was very easy. May the 4th, Star Wars, bing. Either way, May 25th, the Obi-Wan series comes out. West Side Story, for those of you that finished it and you said, I want to watch that again, will be on Disney Plus on March 2nd. So right around the corner there. I will never see my daughter again because she would just be up in her room watching West Side Story on her phone on repeat. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we talked about Josh Gad and company doing Beauty and the Beast prequel series. That is no mas. Been canceled. Apparently, Gad and a couple of others are just simply too busy. They can't do it. So they push it down the road. Maybe we'll get it, but there will not be that Beauty and the Beast prequel series on Disney Plus as we talked about. Super Bowl happened. Oh, I said it. I said Super Bowl. Highlights real quick. We got, the new Doctor Strange trailer. We got Moon Knight trailer. We got the Nope trailer. We got Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power? Crap. Something powerful with the rings. Trailers. I hate that I like the Lord of the Rings trailer. I was like, oh crap, that looks good. Darn it, I'm gonna watch it. And then the Nope trailer. Share that onto our Facebook and our socials. That is automatically just boosted to #1 for most anticipated film of the year. Jordan Peele can do no wrong. And a credit to this man, he's made 3 movies, and he's already got that moniker of like, saw his name attached, I'm in, good to go. Jordan Peele signed up, sold, I'm in. So anyway, I'm in. I can't wait for that to come out. Later on, commercials. It was like they wanted to take us back to 1999, right? The halftime show, you had Dre, you had Snoop, you had Mary J. Blige. Surprise guest, 50 Cent, hanging upside down. That part was weird, but the rest of the halftime show was fantastic. Loved it. I wanted more of it. I wanted less Kendrick Lamar, more Eminem, please. I thought it was a great halftime show. Not my favorite of all time, but I definitely thoroughly enjoyed it and wanted, I thought if the second that halftime show ended, if you got a commercial that said, now announcing world tour, 37 cities starting, March 8th, boom, that tickets would have been sold out for that world tour across the board in all the cities that it announces by the end of the game. By far. I saw on everyone's social media a huge positive response for it. All people my age, 40 years old. Everyone my age is just like, yes, thank you. I get to annoy my kids for a halftime show because now the music that they tell me to turn off, I get to pump, on the TV now. So either way, I felt they should have world tour coming. Tickets would have sold out like that. Either way, commercials. I thought the Eugene Levy one was really funny, hilarious stuff. The Jim Carrey Cable Guy one was actually really, really funny. Good on Carrey for going back to that. The Austin Powers one was okay. I thought the Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, just showed how much everybody in that cast is aged, grown up, maybe. But I was like, this is 1999, man. This is literally, we're back in 19. I think Cable Guy came out 96-ish. Austin Powers 2 came out 99. I was like, holy cow, they're just bringing us back, baby. Back to the late 90s. Totally fine with me. All right. Oscars are done. Hollywood news is done. Time for DC discussion. We got a trailer for all the 2022 DC movies. Black Adam, Shazam, Flash. It looked badass. It looked great. It looked really great. The Batman. I think DC was just like, listen, I know people are upset. Snyderverse, this, bing and a bong bang. Here's what we got coming. And I think you folks are going to be happy with what we have coming. Aquaman, that was the other one. What are you going to do here, Harry? Like, we've got great products and they're coming. Come watch. And I think maybe a lot of people saw that and they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not happy with the direction that DC has been going in the past couple of years. I do wish that there are other things that they were doing, but what they do have coming does look great. There is a prequel comic book out for The Batman that has been released. Is being released? Sorry, I missed that part. Either way, in this book, they make reference to LexCorp, meaning there is a Lex Luthor in the world of the Batman. Will we see Lex Luthor? Will we talk to Lex Luthor? Will Metropolis be mentioned? We don't know. But at least we know that in that world, in the Batman's world, we do have Lex Luthor. So I don't think anyone thought that there wouldn't be, but there was no mention of Lex in any of Michael Keaton's Batmans, so people are like, oh, we're going to mention him here and mention that. So that's awesome. Rock on. Done with DC discussion, on to the Marvel Minute. I mentioned the Doctor Strange 2 trailer. It looked better than the first trailer. I'm coming around on Doctor Strange. I did not enjoy the first Doctor Strange movie. It was boring to me. If you want to hear someone who loves magic and stuff like that, once a month, the Realm of Take-Two drops. That is a specific reason that we have the Realm of Take-Two, to cover that kind of stuff. And listen, if that's your thing, that's your thing. That's awesome. It's just not my thing. But this movie does look, it has me intrigued. I do want to see how Wanda gets involved. In the comics, Wanda's a bad guy. She becomes a bad guy. So it looks like they're pushing towards that angle. And some people that need to help fight Wanda in that are this group of people called the X-Men. And if you go to the 1 minute and 18-second mark, Doctor Strange is arrested, like going to this room, and some dude says, we should tell him the truth. And you see the back of his bald head. It's 100% Professor Xavier. 99%. I should say 99%, just in case. So we think that Professor X is in there, and, it's multiverse. So here we go. We're going to go into here. Who is going to show up from that? Are we going to get Hugh Jackman? Are we going to get all the X-Men? Are we getting, Halle Berry as Storm? Please, I beg of you. It'd be awesome. If we're multiversing, if we're at this level where we're multiversing, give them all to me. That would be awesome. Either way. Russell Crowe has been cast as Kraven the Hunter. Rock and roll. That could be interesting. Some rumor things that are out there. One, Charlie Cox says he can see himself playing Daredevil for 10 more years. Okay. Sign me up, baby. Because we just found out that Netflix is losing all of the Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage and all that. They're all done. That contract's all done, coming up next month. And then, whoop, they're going to be flipped over to Disney Plus, acquiring all of those products. Make us more Daredevil. Please. That show was fantastic. Or at least filter him into more movies like he did in the Spider-Man. Spoiler. Other rumors. Norman Reedus has been asked about playing Ghost Rider. I almost said Ghostface. Ghost Rider. I think that'd be an awesome casting if that happens. And Scott Eastwood, who we talked about earlier in I Want You Back, heavy rumors for him playing Wolverine going forward in the MCU. I could see it. All right. Done with the Marvel Minute. Done with our show. It's time to go forward. I was not able to see Death on the Nile. I actually literally bought tickets. But then the day I bought tickets, I went ahead to work extra, and then I wasn't able to go to the movies because it was either work extra and not sleep any hours or minutes of the day and go see Death on the Nile, or sleep like minimal minutes on the day, like 3, and then not see Death on the Nile. I know what you're thinking right now. Selfish mother effer. Should have went and saw the movie. Sorry. This episode would have been even longer. To that point, maybe this week I will get around to Death on the Nile. Despite its low-rated reviews, I still want to see it. I love the Kenneth Branagh. I think he does great stuff with his films, and I'm in. I'm in on seeing Death on the Nile. Dog comes out this week. This is Channing Tatum with the army dog, and he's transporting the dog. It looks very cheesy. It looks very predictable. I'm not a fan of the I'm blind. Can I, take advantage of being blind joke? And it looks like they're doing this in here. I bet you by the end of this movie it has some heart. Makes you tug at some heartstrings. If you're a dog owner, guilty, you're probably going to love this movie more than the next. And then Uncharted, Tom Holland. I do have tickets already. My daughter is madly in love with Tom Holland, and I will take advantage of that love and go to the movies and see Tom Holland films. I'm intrigued to see how this film plays, because now, these are movies outside of Spider-Man. Can this kid get out of the typecasting of Spider-Man, right? And this is a movie. In the trailers, he looks like he's just playing that Peter Parker role. We'll see. I'm high. I'm going into this high. I'm going into this anticipating a good film, and I'm looking forward to it. On Netflix, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is out this weekend. I plan on watching that, even though I'm hearing from people that it doesn't look great. I saw the trailer and I thought, oh, that looks awesome. People that are way more into horror than me think it looks like poo-poo. So, I don't know. You're going to get my take on it next week, most likely. And lastly, Peacemaker, wrapping up. We will have a review, most likely, of that next week on episode 280. Also, next week's episode, folks, drops on Tuesday, 2/22/22. The episode drops at 2:22 p.m. Be ready for it, because you might have a little surprise in there that has something to do with number 2. And I can't wait to show you guys. It is in the works. It is going to happen. Speak it into existence. Little surprise for you guys next week on 2/22/22. So many twos. And I feel bad for you if that is just a little too much for you to handle. That is not the last time I'm going to make that joke. I feel bad for you guys next week. Thank you for listening to episode 279. Don't forget to follow Jonathan Stoddard on all of his socials, because the guy is an absolute stud and he has a lot of good things coming. And you can say, hey, I've known him thanks to Take Two podcast. Episode 279. Have a great night, everybody.